Okay, so what you're talking about is in the debt ceiling, we asked that we go back to what we were spending 5 months ago. 5 months ago, we were spending a lot of money. And what happens is...
If you do all those cuts with a smaller portion of the budget.
Okay, let me finish my answer. Okay, so we want to go back to what we were spending 5 months ago. People across the country elect their representatives. What we do is once we set the baseline, we go forward and we decide, Republicans and Democrats, what our priorities. It's the exact same thing that every single American family does. For 21 straight years, we have spent more than we brought in. The Democrats added $6 trillion that brought us inflation, that made us more dependent on China. This won't balance the budget by any means. This won't harm people in any areas. What we'll do is find where the waste is at. You're talking $131 billion, but you know what I hear on the other side? That they have no place that they can cut. The first place, you know where I would go? Since the pandemic's over, since we moved the legislation, even the World Health Organization says it's over, we have $50 to $60 billion right there of the 131 that has been appropriated, but for 2 years has sat there. What if you bring that back to the taxpayers? That's just a start. You're going to tell me you can't find the inefficiencies in government? Because all the Democrats have done, they're inflation-bound Democrats, is spend more money and harm this entire country. We know we can do it together. Did I give you a question? Okay, I'm sorry. Yes.
Staff level meetings productive right now? Like, have they been productive and that's why you're giving them more time? Or have they not been productive and that's why?
Look, we have a short time period. If this were staff meetings happening on February 1st, I'd call them productive. When you're sitting here with a few 15 days to go, it really seems to me that the president finally felt the pressure for 100 days of not having a meeting with me. For even though that he sat and met with us on February 1st and told not just myself but all of you in his tweet that we were going to meet again and talk about this, that he told us the next day at the prayer breakfast when he sat next to me and grabbed my forearms, we're going to meet. When he walked up before all the members of Congress at the prayer breakfast and says, we're going to get this solved and meet together.
Wow, friends, this is crazy. Over 238 million Americans were eligible for federal stimulus checks, but not everyone received one. Officials have confirmed that many retirees and seniors missed out on receiving at least one stimulus payment. But friends, you still have time to take action and receive this stimulus money, which can be worth thousands of dollars. My dearest friends, please make sure that you watch until the end of this video. Also stay tuned because I'll be announcing the winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway. Over the course of the crisis, our federal government distributed 3 rounds of special advance tax credits to all eligible Americans as part of its relief efforts. These stimulus checks were widely credited with reducing the economic harm that the crisis could have caused and helped millions of American families stay afloat. According to a new report published by the Center for Economic Studies, about 210 million adults received a payment in the first round. That is nearly 2/3 of the entire population of the United States. And yet apparently not everyone who was eligible for a stimulus check actually received their money. So in total, the researchers found that nearly 228 million people were potentially eligible for a check. The researchers point out that this is a relatively high rate of receipt. Millions of Americans could have received a check, but did not receive one, despite the Internal Revenue Service's efforts to distribute credits to every eligible person. The share of eligible people over age 60 who received a payment was especially high at 94%, which the researchers attribute to the federal government's effort to reach Social Security recipients. The researchers also analyzed how fast people received their payments. They found that the first direct deposit payments were sent out within 2 weeks of the passage of the CARES Act, and the first paper checks were mailed within 1 month. So friends, if you did not receive the full amount of any of the first 3 stimulus checks authorized by the federal government, just know you can still claim these funds. But you must file a tax return now for the relevant year. So in other words, you would still need to either file a 2020 tax return or a 2021 tax return, even though we are now in the midst of 2023, when returns are being accepted for the 2022 tax year. It is very important to be aware that these past stimulus checks were authorized and delivered in different tax years. So friends, if you are missing all 3 payments, you will need to file separate tax returns for the 2020 and 2021 tax year. The good news is, if you did not owe any taxes for these years, you can file a late return without incurring a penalty for failure to file. Now friends, U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said there was still uncertainty about exactly when the U.S. Treasury would run out of cash to pay U.S. government debts. But she said she would keep Congress apprised of any change in the date, which could come as early as June 1st. Speaking at the Group of 7 finance officials meeting in Japan, Yellen said that the Biden administration was working around the clock to avert the economic upheaval that would be triggered. And that's if Congress fails to raise the $31.4 trillion debt limit. She said she had discussed the issue with business leaders in recent weeks and would meet next week with senior Wall Street bankers about the possibility that Washington, D.C. could default on its debt for the first time since 1789. The World Bank president told reporters that the risk of a U.S. default was adding to problems facing the slowing global economy, with rising interest rates and high debt levels choking back investments needed to fuel higher output. President Biden, Democrats, and Republicans remain at odds over the need to raise a debt limit, which reflects previously spent federal money. Unlike most developed countries, the United States sets a ceiling on how much it can borrow. Because a government spends more than it takes in, lawmakers must periodically raise that cap. Janet Yellen said that the Treasury might be able to provide more refined guidance on exactly when it would run out of cash to pay the government's bills as a date neared. Well, my awesome and beautiful friends, that is the end of my daily stimulus update video for today. Thank you so much, friends, for joining me here and for being part of this community. The winners of today's Walmart gift card giveaway of $75 is Keith White and Donnell Caldwell. Congratulations, my dear friends. To claim your gift card, please check your notifications page and send me a message. Or you could message me on my Facebook page. Remember, friends, I'll be giving away more gift cards every Friday. If you would like to enter these weekly giveaways, all you have to do is click and like several of my videos and then comment below the keyword of each video that you watch. My dearest friends, the more videos that you watch and then comment on, the greater your chances of winning the giveaways. Thank you and have a wonderful and very blessed Friday.